Which brings us to the project investment. The project investment section is something that your client is probably most interested in. So the scope of work is the most important thing for you to make sure that you're outlining what you're going to do and what you're not going to do. But your client wants to know right off the bat, what's their budget, how much money they're going to spend. Now, one thing that I used to do that's kind of fun is when I would sit down with a client to review a proposal, I'd put the proposal in front of them and I'd say, okay, let's flip to page 7 and go ahead and take a look at the budget. All right, probably a little sticker shock there because you guys said you had a $10,000 budget. I just put a $22,850 budget in front of you. So now let's walk through the scope of work to see what everything is and see if there's anything that we can cut out, or maybe there's some things that we missed and need to add. So one of the things that I do that for is so a client sees the price tag at the very beginning. And then as you walk through each of those sections, and just walking through the scope of work with you guys, web professionals, where I'm not really explaining everything like I would to an end customer, took about a half hour. So imagine that you show somebody this price tag that's much, maybe it's higher than their budget, or maybe you're right on point, but it's expensive, right? Because you're not a cheap provider, you're actually providing value. So you've shown them the price tag, and then you spend an hour with them going through how you got to that price tag. And then by the time they come back to this project investment page, all of these deliverables on the left-hand side, like planning, conversion content, additional content, search content, design, mobile design, website, these items now mean something to that prospective customer. They actually hold some kind of value, right? So when they see them, they go, man, conversion content for $3,000. At first, when I looked at that, that seemed like a lot of money to spend on something. But now that I understand conversion content, I don't think I can go without that. And then you get your customer to try to make some tough decisions if they are budget strapped. You try to get them to maybe knock out some things that aren't going to work for them. Like maybe it's the social media that's a low priority on their list, or maybe they're in an industry where that's not really something that's going to give them an immediate return on their investment. Maybe they're looking for an immediate return on their investment. So for you, it's going to be important to then walk them through the project investment. Give them maybe some recommendations on some things that they can knock out if they want to, or if they want to keep them, they're going to voice that to you immediately. I had plenty of clients where I said, look, social media setup, that might be something that we can do later. And they said, no, absolutely not. We have an event coming up and we want to make sure that we use social media to the best of our advantage. So when it comes to certain things though, like planning, you're always going to do planning. You're always going to do design. You're always going to design some kind of project. You're always going to do a website build. Now, you can cut and pick individual modules as part of the website build. You could maybe cut out a mobile or responsive design. You could potentially cut out conversion content or additional content or search content. But those are things that when they start to strip those away, they're going to start to strip away your value proposition as a web professional. They're going to start taking down your value and actually decreasing the potential value that you're going to be delivering to your projects. So again, project investment pages like this, I like them because they lay out the options and they give a general cost per each individual item. If you do need to start slashing and burning, it gives you a framework. You don't just have some number that you pulled out of the air that's hidden to your customer. They actually see how it's built, and they see that each of these individual items, because of how you went through your proposal, took time. Right? You've explained that it's going to take you, 80 hours to do a great website design. You've explained that it's going to take you, 15 or 20 hours to set up a project and do planning. So when they see the number on the right-hand side, it's going to make sense to them of, how you got to that number. And so for them, they might say, okay, well, look, we have more than $10,000, but we don't have more than $15,000. And that's a good place for you to be in, because you can start to prioritize things and then see if you want to do some additional negotiation with your prospective customer. So this pricing page kind of puts everything in front of your customer and says, hey, look, here it is. And now we can work together to get to the place that you need to be in order to sign on this project. So the project investment page is a critical page, I think, to have in your proposal and to have individual prices itemized like this. Because when you start hiding price from customers and you just give them like this general broad price and you don't specifically itemize stuff, it makes negotiation harder because the customer can't picture what's important and what's not important according to the investment associated with each of the items that you've listed out in the project investment. Now, beyond upfront investment, we've got these optional itemizations. So these are areas where I say, look, ongoing traffic generation, 15 hours a month is $1,500 a month. Social media monitoring is $800 a month. Social media training is a one-time fee. So you can see here I'm calling out monthly retainers versus a one-time fee of $3,000. Conversion optimization might be a one-time project of $4,500 where we're going in, let's say in 3 months, and we're going to do 30 days of conversion optimization to make sure that the website's converting as best it can. And then original media, this is just specific, if they want a full day, it'll be $2,000. If it's going to take 3 days to do photography for them, then it'll be $6,000. So these are just itemized potential things that they could add on to the project. Now, once you have a contract and the customers verbally, they've signed this contract, they understand what all the costs are in play. When you actually bill for this, if let's say the customer says, hey, we want to do the website project for $22,000, $850, and we don't want to do ongoing SEO, at least for the next 6 months. So you know that to call back this customer in 6 months post-launch to talk to them about SEO. And let's say they want to do, a full day of video, and they have, 2 business profiles and a customer testimonial that they want to shoot. Well, when it comes time for you to invoice the customer, obviously that's where you're going to actually put, some of these kind of individual items on that. It doesn't necessarily need to be, numbered. Like I'm going to do 3 compilations as part of this project scope of work. What you're doing is you're communicating the price of these items, and then when it comes time to order them, you'll just simply invoice your customer for, let's say, a video testimonial for $575. And look, if they pay that invoice, then that's, your additional kind of commitment for that individual project. So these additional itemization type items, these are things that I just want my customer to know about the price ahead of time. And really on all of this stuff, we're going to come back and I'm going to sell them on those individual items outside of this website project. But I want to plant the idea in their head that an online business is more than just a website. It's something that you've got to have content, you've got to have marketing and traffic going to that website in order for it to be successful.